Welcome to the Thursday, July 7th ZBA meeting. I'm going to turn this matter over to our vice chair who's filling in for our clerk. We have two public hearings, and the first one is 6 New Street.
Okay, thank you. Please take notice that a public hearing will be held on Thursday, July 7th, 2022, at 7 p.m. by the Oxford Zoning Board of Appeals at Oxford Town Hall, 325 Main Street, Oxford, Mass., to consider the special permit and variance application of John F. Hulton on behalf of Christine Smith for property owned by Christine Smith, located at 6 New Street, Oxford, Mass., Assessor's Map 34B, Parcel F02 in the R3 Residential Zoning District. The applicant requests a special permit in accordance with Chapter 3, Use Regulations, subsection 1.2.2.1 of the Oxford zoning bylaw to alter or extend the pre-existing non-conforming structure of the non-conforming nature of the existing dwelling and parcel to construct in addition for use as an in-law apartment, and request a variance in accordance with Chapter 10 dimensional requirements, Table 4 of said zoning bylaw from the required side yard setback for construction of the addition, and further in accordance with Chapter 40A, Section 10 of Mass General Law. The application can be viewed in the Office of Town Clerk or Land Management Department during normal office hours. Anyone desiring to be heard on this matter should appear at the place, date, and time designated or submit written comments to the board before the date of hearing. See masspublicnotices.org for legal notice. To the applicants of the Zoning Board of Appeals, you're hereby advised of the following provisions of the Oxford zoning bylaws. Appeals to the Zoning Board of Appeals must be filed within 20 days from the date or order of decision which is being appealed, specifying the grounds thereof. Variances. In order to grant a variance for the requirements of this bylaw, the Zoning Board of Appeals must find that all of the following conditions have been met. A, there are unique circumstances relating to the soil condition, shape, or topography of such land or structures that B, especially affects such land or structures but do not generally affect the zoning district in which it is located, and that C, a literal enforcement of the provisions of this bylaw would involve substantial hardship, financial or otherwise, but not of a personal nature, to the petitioner or appellant, and that D, desirable relief may be granted without substantial detriment to the public good and without nullifying or substantially derogating from the purposes of this bylaw. Special permits. Special permits may be issued only for uses which are in harmony with the general purpose and intent of this bylaw and shall be subject to general or specific provisions set forth herein. In addition, conditions, safeguards, and limitations on time and use may be imposed by the board when issuing a special permit. In granting the special permit, the board shall determine if the following conditions have been met. A, the site is in appropriate locations for the use or structure. B, the soils are suitable for on-site sewage disposal. C, an adequate water supply can be provided. D, the use as developed will not adversely affect the neighborhood. And E, there will be no nuisance or serious hazard to vehicles or pedestrians. In accordance with Chapter 40A, Section 15 of the Mass General Laws, you are hereby advised that any person aggrieved by the decision of the board relative to this matter must file an appeal, as provided for in Section 17 of said Chapter 40A, within 20 days after the date of the filing of this decision in the Office of the Town Clerk.
Thank you very much. So we have before us the application. We have a plot plan. The application does note that the tax status is current. I would add that the application is signed by John Hallis? I'm sorry?
John Hulton?
Okay. Are you the owner?
I'm the owner, he's my agent.
We will need you to sign the application as well, but we can certainly, backtrack on that in a little bit. We have the abutters list, notice of denial and the requirements for approval. we have a multi-page drawing of what I assume is the proposed addition with part of the current property. We have a copy of, excuse me, the deed into Ms. Smith. A copy of the plan of land showing where it is located on the tax map. And the, looks like an as-built for the septic system. With that, I would invite the applicant and applicant's agent to come up and walk us through what's going on and what you're looking for and why.
Yes, we're building, or applying to build a mother-in-law apartment or over
If
the
I could
existing.
stop you just one second, can you, she has a mask on, can you pick up her voice okay?
She's fine.
Okay,
can
I
pull the-
apologize.
Sorry.
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman, if she could pull the mic forward, I'd be able to hear it better. I'm having a little difficulty hearing her.
The mic is just for broadcast.
Yeah, it's not going to help us.
Speakers face the audience, so it's not going to help you necessarily.
Okay.
So
Project as much as you can, please.
I will try. We hope to build a mother-in-law apartment over an existing garage, not going sideways but going back. And Mr. Holton is my agent for that and my contractor.
Now, and this is not for an apartment to be rented, this is an
No.
in-law apartment only.
Correct. Correct.
Okay,
We had the land surveyor come out and design it to fit all inside the exact same non-conformity that you have now. So we're not any more non-conforming. We put everything exactly where it is, and he located the septic and meets all the setbacks to stay exactly with the same 9-foot non-conformity on the right side. That's why he stepped it in the 8 inches to stay with that, as the back line projects a little bit towards the house, towards the back of the property. So he stepped it in and designed it so it would fit everything exactly how its non-conformity is now. So we're not making the property any more non-conforming, and it's just so she can stay living there with her son, basically, and get a little privacy.
and who's gonna be living there?
My son, my adult son, he already lives in the household, and obviously he's an adult. We're trying to make more space. Want to remain in Oxford at the present dwelling. I've been there since 2004, and it seems the best thing for us to do to stay there and have more space and more privacy.
Well, before I open it up to the board, would either of you like to add anything else?
No, I don't think so. I mean, we've said why we want it and how I intend to stay here in Oxford. I've been here since way before 2004, and the property is really an enhancement, what we want to do, and we think it conforms.
All right. Then I'll open up, let's start at this end down here, and Bob, if you wouldn't mind.
I looked at the property. I went by and looked at the property, and I see where you're non-conforming in the front. You're right on the street. And the backyard doesn't look like it's huge. You're going to have to remove some trees and things to get this to to construct this thing, or?
No, we're
No.
only going out 20 feet. It's 17 by 17.6.
Yeah, I couldn't see very well, but,
Yeah, there's plenty open and the
Mhm.
septic's off to the left side.
okay.
So the trees are probably 68 to 70 feet, so they're probably 45 feet
Yeah,
away from the final product.
okay,
So we're not gonna take any trees down. They wanna keep them anyway with the train whipping by.
yeah.
The train's like literally.
Yeah, I saw that,
behind the
yeah.
trees, so. And they still,
That's about all I had to ask.
Like Robert said, I had an opportunity to review the plans. I don't see anything that's increases the pre-existing non-compliant aspect of the property. I examined the septic system. It appears as though it's two-bedroom design pre-construction, two-bedroom design post-construction, so I'm pretty satisfied that it would fit in the neighborhood based on everything that's been presented, so.
And not overstrain the septic.
Yeah, right. Again, the trick is that it's a two-bedroom septic system and it can only be a two-bedroom septic system. Simple as that.
May I? I provided you some additional information tonight. Back in 1993, the septic was actually upgraded from a two-bedroom to three-bedroom.
Okay.
130 gallons a day. So it actually has capacity for a three-bedroom.
All right, if that be the case, then I yield to that, but,
And I also provided a copy of the February 2021 Title Park report that says the same.
because we're looking at, let's see, I'd have to pour over this, but proposed 348 square feet. It appears as though it's based on the dimensions that I see very quickly, it's a two-bedroom septic. But if it is three bedrooms and it's been noted as a three-bedroom, fine. It more than meets what the requirement is, so I'm in favor of. Okay. All right, very good, thank you.
Thank you.
I'm all
Tom.
set.
Was that all, Tom?
I'm all set with that,
Okay,
thank you.
thank you. Al?
Yes. Just what are you looking for from this board?
what are we looking for? Just approval so we can go forward with the project.
You're not looking for relief from a side yard
No,
setback?
And I don't mean to put words in your mouth, but from looking at it, Al, it appears that what the applicant is looking for is a 6-foot relief from the 15-foot side yard setback, because it appears that, based on the measurements on the proposed addition plot plan, it would be 9 feet back, so that would be a 6 feet of relief.
Okay, that answers.
Am I stating that correctly?
Yeah, we're keeping exactly in the 9-foot line of where the current house already sits. So the current house is 9 feet away, and as it pitches back, we stepped it back, so once we're done, we'll still be at least the 9 feet away. So we won't be any closer than she already is now.
They cut it back a few inches to start, not at the edge, so that when they come out at an angle, they still stay at 9 feet.
And you're comfortable that as you go back to the back right point corner, that you will be spot on, so if we give you 6 feet, you're not going to be, an inch or two over?
No, we'll make it,
Okay.
we'll make sure. We got the strings, he set up the pins, so we dead on know where it is.
Okay, good.
Just, maybe I could ask you this question that I have. Once you've established a setback, which they've done years ago, doesn't that apply to any new construction as to what was established, even though it's less than what's now required?
Well, I don't know when the property was built, but it could have predated zoning. I don't know.
If I may, Mr. Chairman, I talking to a couple of people about this. The previous situation was there was a special permit that was issued for side yard setback and all of that. Now what they're applying for is an extension or an expansion of a pre-existing non-conforming, which now requires a new special permit. And I agree with Al that a special permit is required for this.
I think what Al was asking, if I could, Mr. Chairman, is he's wondering if they're already 9 feet and they're still going to stay 9 feet. They're not real. How are they extending the how are they increasing the non-conformity?
I would view it that it's new construction. I would just look at it as simple as that.
It's from the, I guess from the building inspector's perspective, that it was granted for that specific condition some 10, 20, or whatever it was, years ago when it was pre-existing non-conforming. And now we're modifying that by adding to the pre-existing non-conforming, which now requires a new special permit, so.
Okay.
Did that answer your question sufficiently, Al?
It does for the moment, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I'm going to review it myself, but I was thinking different. The other thing, are you referring to this as an in-law apartment?
Well, it's going to be, my son's going to live there. I may not be using the correct term.
Does your son qualify as an in-law?
A family member.
Right.
Well, that's different than an in-law. I'm saying this
I
because
think-
we've already got one situation where someone lost their in-law rights,
Could I, Mr. Chairman?
sold their house.
I was reading on this earlier, and I think the accessory in-law apartment, the difference between the two, accessory, you're able to rent, in-law, you're not, but it said that it could be even used for the elderly person to be able to stay in their home for a longer period.
Exactly. We may
it's not a-
eventually, in a few years, I may be living in that and he will be living in the main house.
Which is what she kind of mentioned initially, that she would be living there, and it helps extend. I mean, I can find it, but it was.
The addition, is there going to be a second kitchen?
Yes.
Now, in an in-law apartment situation, do you have to have an internal entrance to the main part of the building? He's got it right there.
An internal entrance to the main.
We do have that.
It's gonna be, they're connected. There'll be a door connecting them both.
We
I
already,
looked at your plans, though. That didn't really indicate that, in my mind.
oh, well, there is from the side of the house into the garage. It exists already. And we're going to keep that, obviously.
We're gonna use the garage as
Shows it
the
right here.
living room.
Says it has to have a separate means of egress. Doesn't say anything about
Definitely.
open to the internal, to the other building.
Didn't say that.
All right, the addition,
Here's your-
I'm on page 10 of my,
okay.
of this stuff here.
There's a stairwell, internal door here into the main
Oh,
house.
I'm sorry.
What
I
there
take
is,
that back,
Al,
Al, you're right. So on an in-law apartment,
There's a
that
back porch and there's a connection between the two through the back porch.
does say
I don't know if it qualifies.
self-contained
when you
housing
read
unit
that,
within
That's why I'm looking at it.
single-family
I
dwelling
don't
unit
think
with its
it
own sleeping,
qualifies.
cooking,
Well,
sanitary, with a separate means of egress
When I
and an
was reading
interior
it.
connection to the main
It's not like
dwelling.
a common.
That's for the
Common
in-law.
hallway
In
or
my
a.
opinion, this could just as easily be an extension
Says
of
it
the
should be an
house.
entrance to the
It's
one
making that
apartment,
house
to
dual
the
bigger.
in-law apartment to the other apartment.
Yeah.
A house can have
Internal.
more than one
I
kitchen.
think, that's what I read, how I read it.
I'm sorry, I missed that.
When I read it, I thought there had to be an internal entrance.
I believe you're right, Al. from an in-law apartment.
Well, there will be. There's going to be two
The
egresses.
garage door is still there, that will be the entrance to his apartment from her, the back of her dwelling, and then there'll be an exit out
For
the
him.
back. On both, he'll be able to exit out the back
Well-
also.
The plan I'm looking at, I don't know if that's enclosed outside or inside or,
Oh, yeah, it's enclosed, is that heated, the back porch?
Yes.
It's
the
a
roof
heated,
over it?
Yeah, oh yeah, it's totally
Thing,
enclosed, it's
but-
heated.
Where's the other egress? You got this, but is there another egress?
Yeah, you're right.
It doesn't even show the end of the building. So there's gotta be 2 points of,
Legally, yes, you're right.
I don't see it.
It's gotta be two egresses and,
There is a back door on it, and the.
It doesn't show it on the drawing yet.
again, the whole idea behind, if I may, Mr. Chairman, the whole idea with the floor plan is supposed to show all of these information that we're going to be asking for. We're looking for dual egresses, we're looking for a crossover between A and B.
I assume the crossover is the doorway between the proposed addition and I don't know what that little box would be with stairs going up and down.
Well, again, it's,
There's 2 sets
Oh.
of stairs.
That's not the
again,
right
if
page, but
it's a common egress for both, or an exit or a common entrance to each unit, it should be labeled so.
yes. Do I take it that the top part is cut off? That's where you're saying the back door would be?
There's a back door up on the bottom right, the upper right corner of that.
It shows the door there.
No, that's the one entering your house. He's talking about above the addition. It got cut off in the copy.
I mean, these,
Well, the
these are simple things that need to be addressed, or may need to be addressed, and
Seems like he has plans in front of him.
Yeah, I have
Okay.
this one here.
I'd like to see it where it's not cut
No.
off.
right. I agree with you.
That's just a 306A door.
The plans before Ross are not necessarily the plans that are before.
No, I
Yeah,
understand.
306A door.
They're reversed.
And
The
what
door's
we're
there,
approving,
the door's there. This is the
I'm not
kitchen.
gonna approve
We
the plan
reversed it.
sitting in front of him and not
So
me.
we could fit the stairs without encroaching.
Well, so this is the
That's the
addition.
bottom addition, yep, and this is the existing garage, which is connected to
I mean, it
her
wouldn't
house,
be-
the existing doorway.
Well,
So they have an egress from her house.
Make it so we can see it.
Right.
So, if I may,
Yep.
coming
Hard to-
through
hard to
something
bust it.
here,
Yeah, there's a door here and here, and then that's the door to the basement.
You're seeing in
that's
front of
connected.
them.
so coming out here
That's
and
the garage.
to where?
This is the garage would be his living area, and this would be the kitchen area, and this would be out the back door to the backyard. So the door's going over there. First we had the kitchen straight, but he decided we made it to have a little more space. She'll definitely have 2 means of egress, there, one here and one through her. That's it.
Can I say something? The applicant still needs to go through the planning board to get approval for the in-law apartment. The zoning board of appeals is approving the alteration or extension of the pre-existing non-conforming and the variance because it's closer than the 15 feet to the side yard setback. You still have to go to the planning board for a special permit for the in-law apartment. I want you to throw that out there.
Thank you.
Did you want
Will that come back to us?
No.
Oh, okay.
You just, anyways.
So what I'm saying is the
There's gonna be
ZBA
a door,
has.
there's a
is
door
their
here in
job,
the back
planning board
exit. This will be the new addition.
So our
Would come
job,
out more in the
at
plan.
this point, Mr. Chairman,
No, I heard.
so
yeah, I completely
our job
agree.
is
That would
to
be the easier way
is to grant a special permit from the
A side set?
side setbacks and nothing else, not the floor plan, not the way that the lot is gonna be used. All we're worried about
Well, I
is
mean, those
zoning
things
setbacks.
Can
see
be
that?
taken into consideration to criteria for granting
But that's good.
variance and special permit, but if they met all of their criteria, they wouldn't be coming in front of you. They would only have to go to the planning board.
Well, it says, according to the building inspector, that we need to issue a special permit from the ZBA.
Correct.
Okay, and the ZBA special permit is for
Alter or increase the pre-existing non-conformity.
pre-existing non-conforming,
Because it is a small lot,
right?
so it's undersized, and the existing house encroaches on the front yard setback
Side as
So-
well.
inside as well.
So all we're doing is dimensional and offset approval and nothing more than that, not the use of the property.
That's not how I read it.
That's not the way I read it either. It has to do with the use of the property as well.
It's a special permit for an in-law apartment, which is essentially taking this size house and making this bigger house.
Right.
That's how it should have been presented.
Okay.
It's not a separate apartment. You're taking a certain size home and you're making it a bigger home.
Right,
That's it.
okay.
Mr. Chairman, can I ask, Mary, that was one of the questions I had, whether it had to go to the planning board after us. But what
Yes.
is, and I wanted to ask what the criteria they were going to be
The
reviewing.
criteria that the planning board will review should be in the zoning bylaw, that it is, if it's gonna be for an in-law, it will be for a relative or a handicapped person. It won't be greater than 800 square feet. Can't change the outward appearance of the single-family home. Any new entrances should be in the side or in the back. I can't remember all of the
Okay.
criteria.
So basically, the
But
things that we see in
septic
them.
Capacity is sufficient, but I believe that water capacity is sufficient.
So in a way, some of the same things we're talking
Some
about
of
here.
the same things.
Okay. Thank you.
Now,
I've seen a situation where people have got in trouble when they resold a house with an in-law apartment, and they had to rip out a brand-new apartment in order to sell the house, because they weren't selling it with that to an in-law. They wanted to keep it and use it, but they still couldn't do it. Not to put the sale through, that's what they did. But the term in-law apartment has a distinct, is what I'm saying. It has something distinct about it.
well, yes, it's limited
It's limited
to
who
who
you
may use it, and it cannot be, it's not a two-family property. Yes, no, I agree with you. There certainly is a distinction in the law.
And that can possibly affect future sales. And that was what happened in a case that I was involved with about 10 years ago.
Well, if I may, Mr. Chairman, one of the things that you can do, or you could do, you're worried about the impact of 10 years down the road, somebody trying to sell this off as a three-bedroom house, or as a two-family house. You could always throw a deed restriction on it that would limit the
Oh, I
use.
think they could do that.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't have a problem with that part of it. I'm just saying the term in-law puts something distinctive on it.
Right, I
All of a
understand.
sudden, you're saying son, who's not an in-law.
Right.
His
Okay.
wife might be an in-law.
Conserve.
If you had
I concede to that one.
Don't have one. You don't have a wife.
But if we're
You're
going
not
through
gonna
the
work either,
process,
Dan.
we would
You're right, he doesn't have
Probably better
a,
if
he doesn't have a
they
He doesn't
license.
have one, he doesn't want one.
Yeah.
Well, this permit does not make this a two-family house. It's still a single-family home with an in-law apartment. And that there's a difference, there's a fine line of a difference in that. So you couldn't market it down the road as a two-family house, or if something unforeseen happened, they couldn't rent this apartment out as an apartment to a total stranger or whatever.
Right.
So, and that's where the in-law apartment, it's, in-law apartment is just a term.
It's a
But it-
convenience.
Yes.
exactly
and
what it is,
And
it's
it
convenience.
means somebody, and like you had said, and was read off here, that it was a person who was physically handicapped, a family member, specifically a family member, in-law or outlaw,
Right.
son, daughter, whatever, who was incapacitated or something and needed an apartment close by for care. And that's how that was written up in the first place, and just over years, it became like an in-law apartment. And that's kind of how the term got into all this mess. If you look in the code books, it's kind of a gray area, but it is specific in the fact that it has to be a relative. It doesn't specify in-law specifically, because my in-laws are my wife's family. You follow me? So, they're my in-laws, but they're her family. So if they were to move in,
How's it different than the accessory apartment?
Accessory apartment, you have the option to rent it.
Yeah, I think that's what it comes down to,
Yeah.
is
right?
the ability to rent it. An in-law apartment, they're not supposed to be able to convert that over to a rental income
Right.
property.
Exactly.
It's only meant for the convenience of in-laws or relatives of some immediate relatives. And I know that it may not necessarily be clearly defined in what an immediate relative is, but versus sending it out to a third party for rental is a whole different ballgame.
We can't make new law.
Mary,
Oh,
yes.
Try and read the ones we have.
So typically, when the planning board makes a decision, if it is for an in-law, it is specified in that decision, and that decision is ultimately recorded with the Registry of Deeds. So if somebody did a title search on that property, they're going to find that document, decision, that references that it's for a relative. And I believe the bylaw says relative by blood or marriage.
I didn't see that, but
Okay.
it could be in here, I
It
didn't.
used to, maybe it
The
doesn't.
bottom line, where I think you're going, if it becomes an in-law, it's crystal clear it's not a two-family, will not be sold as a two-family.
Right.
There really can't be a reason to put a deed restriction, because there is a document that would be on record at the registry that any title examiner worth their salt would have no issues at all with understanding it. You know that, Al. You've done plenty of title searches yourself.
In the case, I would rather see someone come in and just say, I want an apartment.
But that's not what they want.
Yeah. Well, now,
Yeah, but to talk about how many angels can fit in the head of a pin 3, 10,
there's a
30
building
years from
building
now.
a kitchen in this unit.
With all due
Yeah.
respect, it's our intent now, isn't it? And it's going to remain a family home. In fact, I probably will end my days in the in-law apartment, so we could split hairs forever, but that's our intent of what it is now, is to have somewhere for me to live and somewhere for my son to live. Not to, 10 years down the road, sell it to
There
a
you go.
two-family home.
I think we've covered that issue enough. Al, was there anything else you
I'm all
would?
set.
Thank you very much.
All right, Mr. Chairman,
Please.
just want to read this. It says, to the applicant's point, the owners of the residence in which the accessory in-law apartment is located shall occupy at least one of the dwelling units. Doesn't have to be in the main house, can be in the accessory apartment, so it's either or. I had a hard time figuring out which house was yours on the zoning map. It's the second one going down the street. Is it tan? Is it tan?
Yes, it is.
And if I was on the street, to the right of it is a blue colored house?
Yes.
The blue
Okay.
color two, it's
Yeah.
like a two, that one's a two,
All right,
that's a double one, that's an apartment right next door.
Yeah.
yeah,
That's a two-family.
okay. The height of the height of the proposed addition, is going to be the same as the house?
No, it's gonna be probably about 7 feet higher, 8 feet higher than the ridge is now.
7 feet higher?
It's gonna be about 23 feet to the feet.
And is that for a visual aesthetic?
No, it's for the second floor. The bedroom, you know.
Yeah, it's going to slope from the front to the back.
It's just gonna turn into almost a salt box, but we're gonna keep the garage revealed because we have to step back. So it's gonna look like a real salt box. Well, not a salt box, but a real Cape Cod, where it's gonna have the step back and the roof. So we're just gonna continue the roof of the front of the garage straight up and then salt box the back. Get that back to the bedroom.
You have town water there?
Yes.
Yes.
And directly behind your property is the railroad?
Yes.
The new addition. We're going up.
How is it, 80 feet from your house, maybe 80, 100 feet?
And that land, where you're proposing to put this, it's all flat?
Yeah, flat ground
Yes.
level.
And I did have the question about what room you'd be connecting to inside the house, but I see it on this, on your drawings. And the other piece I had was whether you were going to the planning board before or after, and what Mary, the other question was about the deed, what would be recorded, and she highlighted that it would say that it was approved for an in-law apartment. So I think those are all the questions I had. Thank you.
Thank you. I have no questions. Is there anything you care to add before I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing?
I think
It's a slab.
Not really.
No, I don't
He just
think
wants to
so.
stay there and take care of her later.
You're a good son.
Yeah.
Is there anybody from the audience?
Is there anyone present that would come up, would like to come up and speak for, against, or comment? Please step up to the microphone and give us your name and your address.
Hi, I'm Amy Frick, 10 Tremont Street. I am in a butter, and I think this is a great idea. I think it's going to be beautiful.
Thank you.
I'm for this.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
With that being said, I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
We have, I think Robert and I have one more question. Full cellar underneath the,
Yes.
it's a full cellar underneath the addition,
Yes,
proposed
it will be.
addition?
Yeah.
Okay, that answers that question.
We already had the foundation guy out there to look at it. We did a lot of research, make sure nothing's gonna, we've checked all the problems before we came here, that we won't have any.
I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
I'll have a second, and we'll vote. Bob?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Al?
Yes.
Yes.
And I also vote yes, so the public hearing is closed. I would entertain a motion, we're gonna do this one at a time. We'll do, I'll entertain a motion for a variance, it's gonna be 6 feet of relief from the side yard setback.
So moved.
I'll second that.
And we'll vote.
Yes.
Yes.
I don't think they need this, but yes, I'm voting yes.
Yes.
And I vote in the affirmative, make it unanimous. I will entertain a motion for special permit issuance for the in-law apartment that is being requested.
I'll make a motion.
And a second,
Second.
and we'll vote.
Yes.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
I vote in the affirmative. It passes. Before you leave, please, ma'am, sign the application.
She did sign for owner's signature.
Oh, I apologize. I was looking at a different page. I only saw your signature.
I thought it signed it.
So
Right.
we're all set, you don't have to sign anything.
Yep, you're all set. You'll get notified in the mail by Mary. And there is an appeal period. You'll be notified of all of that. And then you'll need to record some things at the Registry of Deeds.
So does that mean, how long is the appeal period? That's another 20
It's
days?
a 20-day appeal period once the decision is filed with the town clerk's office.
And how long does that take?
Oh, it takes me a couple of weeks to get
All
that
right, all right.
report, filed with the town clerk.
Okay.
And remember, in the meantime, you can apply to the planning board
Okay.
and get started on that.
Is that just a straightforward procedure for the
Another
planning?
meeting.
It's
Plan-
another public hearing. Butters need to be notified again. Yes.
Okay.
And that's the last step in the whole procedure?
And then the planning board would make a decision.
Right.
Decision filed with town clerk,
Okay.
20-day appeal period, yes.
Okay.
So the sooner you get that going, then.
So I can do that,
Wrap it
we can
all
do
up.
that right away.
Mhm.
Okay.
All right, and how long would we expect that procedure to be if everything was straightforward?
Oh, if everything is straightforward, couple of months.
Because we've taken 17 months so far
I
between...
know, I've been discussing this project with your contractor for over a year, so.
Yes, I know, well, we don't want to get into that situation
I
again.
can't help how quickly he submits the paperwork.
Well, it's been lost a few times too, so I just want to make sure we don't go through that again, but thank you.
I wish you the best.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for your
And it being 7:15, we have a 7:15. Would the applicants mind coming on up? Or as they say on the
Say on,
Price is Right, come on down.
on down.
Now, before we start this, I would state for the record that I have filed the applicable letter of a potential appearance of a conflict with the town clerk's office. I do not view that as a problem, but I have filed the letter, and I will be taking part in this, in the hearing on this matter and voting on this matter. I'm going to turn it over to read the public notice.
All right, thank you. Please take notice that a public hearing will be held on Thursday, July 7th, 2022, at 7:15 PM or thereafter by the Oxford Zoning Board of Appeals at the Oxford Town Hall, 325 Main Street, Oxford, Mass., to consider the special permit and variance application of Stephen Esposito and Michelle Esposito, formerly Michelle Barch, for property owned by the applicants located at 221 Old Webster Road, Oxford, Mass., Assessors Map 32, Parcel B02.01, in the R2 Residential Zoning District. The applicant requests a special permit in accordance with Chapter 3 Use Regulations, subsection 1.2.2.1 of the Oxford zoning bylaw to alter or extend the pre-existing non-conforming nature of the existing dwelling to construct an addition for use as an in-law apartment and requests a variance in accordance with Chapter 10 dimensional requirements, Table 4 of said zoning bylaw from the required front yard setback for construction of the addition, and further in accordance with Chapter 40A, Section 10 of Mass General Laws. The application can be viewed in the office of the town clerk or land management department during normal office hours. Anyone desiring to be heard on this matter should appear at the place, date, and time designated or submit written comments to the board before the date of hearing. See masspublicnotices.org for legal notice. To the applicants of the Zoning Board of Appeals, you're hereby advised of the following provisions of the Oxford zoning bylaws. Appeals to the Zoning Board of Appeals must be filed within 20 days from the date or order of decision which is being appealed, specifying the grounds thereof. In order to grant a variance for the requirements of this bylaw, the zoning board of appeals must find that all of the following conditions have been met. There are unique circumstances relating to the soil condition, shape, or topography of such land or structures that especially affect such land or structures, but do not generally affect the zoning district in which it is located, and that a literal enforcement of the provisions of this bylaw would involve substantial hardship, financial or otherwise, but not of a personal nature, to the petitioner or appellant, and that desirable relief may be granted without substantial detriment to the public good and without nullifying or substantially derogating from the purposes of this bylaw. Special permits may be issued only for uses which are in harmony with the general purpose and intent of this bylaw and shall be subject to general or specific provisions set forth herein. In addition, conditions, safeguards, and limitations on time and use may be imposed by the board when issuing a permit, special permit. In granting the special permit, the board shall determine if the following conditions have been met. The site is an appropriate location for the use or structure. The soils are suitable for on-site sewage disposal. An adequate water supply can be provided. The use as developed will not adversely affect the neighborhood, and there will be no nuisance or serious hazard to vehicles or pedestrians. In accordance with Chapter 40A, Section 15 of the Mass General Laws, you are hereby advised that any person aggrieved by the decision of the board relative to this matter must file an appeal as provided for in Section 17 of said Chapter 40A within 20 days after the date of the filing of this decision in the office of Town Clerk.
Thank you.
Welcome.
So we have a signed application. We have a deed. It should be noted that the tax status is noted as being current. We have an abutters list. We have a tax map. And we have, it appears to be septic plans and renderings of the lower level and main level of the current home and the proposed addition. With that being said, I will turn it over to the applicant and applicant's agent.
I'm Michael Barch. So we're going to be doing the building for my sister and brother-in-law. And it's going to be an in-law apartment. So what we're looking for is the existing house is sitting 41 feet from the front, for the front setback. The new addition or the in-law apartment will be 45 feet, so 4 feet back from the existing. So we're looking for a 5-foot relief. Front setback relief.
Would you like to address why it is not going any further back? Maybe addressing based on the elevation, the topography, whatever that is limiting you as to where it's being proposed, if I'm making myself clear.
Sure. The existing septic system is in the backyard. So that septic system is, we really don't have any idea how well the trenches are performing. So the tank is fine, so that's why we applied for a repair. So that's, you see the septic design, the approved septic design, which is going to be going in the front yard. So the idea was to push the addition. As you can see, the back part of the addition projects 10 feet back into the banking. So there's probably about I would say a 6-foot elevation change from the bottom of the driveway to that top banking, or where this 10-foot part of the addition pushes into that bank. And so the further that goes back, the sharper that banking has to be, to bring us back down to grade. So there's a side entrance for the garage because we're eliminating the garage from the existing house in order to put the in-law apartment on. So in order to have enough room to put the new garage underneath, the addition needs to be a certain distance forward so that we're able to create the entrance.
Okay. Is there anything else you'd like to lay out for the board before I turn the matter over to the board members?
Well, this is going to be for my dad and stepmom, so it'll be going on to my sister's home. So they currently live in Rutland, and so, getting older, they need to obviously be closer to us, to their family. And so that's the purpose of putting this on. It does meet the 800 square feet minimum. It's 792 square feet. There's 2 bedrooms will be in the existing, and there'll be 1 additional bedroom in the in-law apartment. And so we have the approved new septic design for a 3-bedroom. So. Yeah. That's not the right drawing. So we do have a revised floor
Single sheet
plan.
of paper.
I didn't provide that.
Oh, okay. Okay, so you have the new drawing showing the,
Those bedrooms being,
okay.
no. Sorry, Julie.
All right, is there anything else?
Do you have anything to add, Steve?
All right, then I'm going to open it up to the members. I'm going to start down by you, Bob, if you wouldn't mind, please.
The septic system as revised is going to be adequate for the amount of bedrooms, correct?
Yes. Great.
With the addition, right?
Yes, including the addition.
Now, you're using you're eliminating part of the existing garage. So is the new addition, will that be built on a slab?
No, it's going to be full basement.
Full
So it'll
basement?
be a garage under, just like the existing house.
Okay, yep.
But just,
It's just
Bumped over,
moving
yeah.
it out.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
yep.
That's all yeah.
All right, Tom, if you wouldn't mind, please.
I've had the opportunity to review the septic design, the proposal as well, the pre-construction and post-construction design. It doesn't, it's called the use of. The use of the facility has not really changed. It's a 3-bedroom facility meant for 6 people. The septic design is certainly capable of handling that, even the revised edition of or the repair. It does not exceed or encroach any further on the pre-existing non-compliant setup, so if they're going to be more than the 41 feet away from the roadway, I have no problem with the proposal. Simple.
Thank you for the expertise you bring to bear on that.
Thank you.
All right, was there anything else, Tom?
I have nothing else. Thank you.
All right, Al?
No, I had no questions. This plan that they presented kind of explains everything I wish the previous people had put on their plan, but I have no questions.
All right, similar question to last time. The height of this, and I think from your drawings, it shows it's going to match the height of the current house?
It's going to be approximately 2 feet lower.
2 feet lower,
Yep.
okay. And 792 square feet you mentioned. See the septic is, do you have well water? Yeah, I see the
Yep.
well there now, actually. Didn't see it before. It's a 1 acre lot, so you have a lot of land there. I was wondering what was happening with the other garage, but you explained that as well. I'm all set, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. I do not have any questions. I would ask, although I know the answer, there's no one else in the audience, but is there anyone within the sound of my voice that would like to come and make a comment, a question, or what have you? Steve, would your wife like to come up at all?
Would you like to come up?
Yeah. Steve, I told you we can't do this, Steve.
I think we should require her to speak.
Well, as my brother, my husband said, we're looking to move my parents into an in-law apartment. My dad is 84, my mom is 77. My dad's got some health issues, so they live in Rutland now. It's very difficult for us to get there in a quick manner, so they will be right there. We will be right there to help them, so we would just really appreciate your consideration.
Kudos.
Thank you.
Well, with that being said, unless anyone has any other questions or comments, I would entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
All right, we're going to vote.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
And I vote in the affirmative. The public meeting is closed. You are looking for 4 or 5 feet.
It is 4.
All right, I'll entertain a motion for a 4-foot variance on the front yard setback.
Mr. Chairman, I mean, I see 45 here. Am I missing something?
I'm going to trust the builder because if he's wrong...
45, and then the house is 41. So, I'm sorry, so it is, okay, yes, right, from the 50, I'm sorry, it is 5. Yes,
5 feet of relief.
yes, yeah.
Okay.
4 feet, yes, 5 feet, sorry.
Right.
Good job, Peter.
I will entertain a motion for a 5-foot variance from the front yard setback requirement.
Mr. Chairman, I would move we do grant the 5 feet of relief from the front yard setback based on what was presented and meeting the conditions for variance.
I'll entertain a second. Thank you, and we're going to vote.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I didn't get the second.
That was Al.
Thank you.
You're so soft, Al.
I'll have to do this to you.
Project, Al, project.
Yes.
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 And I'll make it unanimous. I will entertain a motion to allow a special permit for the stated in-law apartment.
So moved.
And I'll
Second.
entertain a second, good second, and we're going to vote.
Yes.
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 And I will make it unanimous. The variance, I'm sorry, the special permit for the in-law apartment is allowed.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Congratulations. I wish you guys the best, and
Still need to go to the planning board.
We already
We already
did that.
have
We
it.
already did. Oh. See, that would have been good to know.
good luck with your parents.
Thank you very
Thank you,
much.
sir.
So there's
Thank you.
not a
Thank you,
set
Mary.
order. They can
It
get,
doesn't have to be a set order, no. They ended up going to getting approval from the planning board first.
so in reality, the other applicants could have been doing
Could
both.
have been,
Okay.
could have been.
It's good to know for the future.
They were a little slow in getting their application together.
Okay. Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, good luck.
Mary, gotta get them to do this stuff.
Have a good day.
Have a good night.
You too, thanks.
Bye-bye, Tom. Thank you, Mary.
You're welcome.
I wasn't here for these, but
And I believe that we have one final matter, that being
We get minutes.
some minutes. Not seconds, mind you, but minutes.
not seconds.
Sometimes it's hours.
Has everyone had an opportunity to take a look?
I was not here, so I'm going to abstain.
I don't think I was here either, right?
I wasn't here.
Yeah, absent, myself, Tom, you were here, Bob.
You were here.
Bob Allen.
Oh, for that one?
David were
Okay.
here. April 28th.
I have to
If
abstain.
you
You
get,
can vote.
Yeah, 3 is.
oh, Bob, you were here.
Bob was here.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
So, all right, are you prepared to vote on acceptance of the minutes?
Yes.
I'm prepared.
Okay.
I didn't use the opportunity.
You are
I'm not gonna
prepared.
vote, but I'll prepare it.
Okay, would you like to vote today on the minutes?
Yes, I would.
That's awesome. I will entertain a motion to accept the minutes.
I'll make a motion, we accept the minutes.
Second.
Nice, we're gonna vote.
Yes.
Yes.
And I'll make it unanimous. All right, and I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Oh, me.
Nice, and we need a second.
Yes.
Al, that's awesome. We're gonna vote,
Yes.
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 and I'll make it unanimous. I love the way a plan comes together.